All right, everybody. Hey, hope you all are doing well tonight. Hope my audio sounds good. Looks like everything's doing well here. Welcome. Hey, welcome to Note Night in America again here, everybody. Glad to have each and every one of you join us from all across the country. For all those that are here tonight, type in the chat room. Let me know what part of the country you're joining us from. If you're watching this live or catching the replay, do the same thing. I always like to know where our audience is joining us from. I mean, I get pretty good analytics and have a bit of an idea, but I always love to see. And if I can, as people are commenting, I'll be glad to address different things going on in the different markets and stuff like that. But glad to have each and every one of you. Good to see you, RJ, again. Hey, John Sherry from Rochester, New York. Good to see you, Cynthia from Decatur, Texas. I think I saw Jim Myers from Wake Forest on there earlier. That's awesome. Glad to have you, buddy. We have got people. Let's see here. We got some questions on here. Larry, Cincinnati, Ohio. Congrats to the Bengals out there for winning a playoff game for the first time in 31 years. I wish the Cowboys could do something like that too. Yeah, exactly. So glad to have each and everybody here. Like, we've got a lot to cover. Tonight might be one of those webinars that changes some of your lives. And I don't say that just to say it. Hey, Kim from Austin, Texas, way to go. I'm on the north side. What part of Austin are you on, Kim? But anyway, it might be a webinar tonight that does change a lot of your lives. I will tell you this, of Pflugerville. You're from the Flug. I'm on the other side of 45 over by Cedar Park. So it's good. Hey, neighbor. Anyway, you maybe know that I have coaches myself, besides being a coach for many people, many for some of you guys out there as well. And we spent literally the last 5 days going through some great stuff with one of our business coaches doing a business mastery event. And I'll tell you, it was worth every penny I paid for it, because Friday evening I had probably the epiphany of epiphanies and the ideas that pop up, and you're like, I am such a freaking idiot. Why didn't I think of this sooner? You've ever had any of those moments? You're like, oh my God, duh. Why did I think of that sooner? And you go from there. And that's why you want to surround yourself with like-minded people, but also it's good to get outside the box and be fresh from a lot of people, because I think a lot of times we feed into our own blindness, and we get so used to doing the same thing. Sometimes it's good to have an outside the box view. And this weekend was one of those. I will tell you this right now. I am so excited. I am pumped up for what this year holds. Unlike many people have been very kind of melancholy, like, oh, woe is me, downers. You're going to love, I think, what we talk about tonight here. Hey, Roberta from Lynchburg, Virginia. Good to have you there. Join us here tonight. We're just great stuff, everybody. So we've got some good stuff. I'm just going through and answering. Done. Jim Myers asked me a question here. If I've ever, have you ever done a class and create your own notes? When I asked you a while back, you replied that you thought it was a good idea. I've not seen any mention of it again. I have not mentioned it again. It is a good idea. I need to get around to doing it. We just had other things that we've been working on. You haven't missed it. And I guarantee you, when I do, you're the first person I'll call, Jim, because I think we're going to be putting something together like that here over the next couple of months. I know that we're going to do a little bit more of that at Note Camp in the middle of the year. For those that are interested, Note Camp is our mid-year convention. You can buy an extra early bird ticket at notecamp.live. I'm going to bring in some folks to talk about, probably call the underwriter and a few of my colleagues out there. I mean, I used to create a ton of notes back when I first got started in the note business. 2004 to 2008, we did a lot of owner finance, created and sold them at the closing table. It's different now. I mean, we're buying owner finance notes. We'll look at them and make offers on stuff like that. But when we'll probably do something like that. We might even do a VIP day, a VIP weekend, and roll that out as an option for some folks if they want to come and spend a couple of days here and knock it all out in more than one way. But anyway, let's get to the nuts and bolts of tonight, the meat and potatoes. It is dinner time for many of us. Let's get you feeding your note brains out there tonight. But anyway, glad to have you all here. This is your first time. I want to give a big shout out for those celebrating, everybody celebrating MLK Day. I think with Martin Luther King, we could use a Martin Luther King Jr. In today's society. So if you had the day off, great. Just a bit of remembrance. I have a dream. He had a dream. I think we all have a dream. That kind of plays in a little bit. Well, I'll be sharing with you guys later, but hopefully you've enjoyed celebrating, and keep that in mind. I think it's an interesting world we live in, and we could definitely use more of people with his mindset and dreams. And we still live in the greatest country in the world, and we still have the availability and the option to chase our dreams and our focus and everything we want to accomplish. It's just that sometimes it's gotten a little ugly out there. I won't say, I mean, don't get me wrong, segregation is the ugliest, but I think we have a different type of segregation here in the United States these days, the haves and the have-nots, or the educated versus the uneducated. And I think it's an opportunity for us investors to go out and do a lot of good. And I think tonight's webinar will see what I mean by that. But anyway, if this is your first time at Note Night in America, we've been doing these for a while. This is the 11th year of doing them. We started these back in 2010. And we do this about every Monday night. And I think we do at least 35 to 40 of these per year, depending on the schedule. Highly encourage you to check out the podcast. We just released episode 100 on Note Night in America. There's a couple years missing, but I'm not going back to do those. But the 100th episode of Note Night in America went live. All our videos, the last 5 years at least, are on our YouTube channel at WeCloseNotes.tv. So make sure you go there, subscribe, so you stay up to date there. And besides just our YouTube, our Note Night in America, you'll also have access to our different stuff on podcasts. Our big one, the Note Closer Show podcast. Excited some of the things we're doing new with that. We'll talk about that in a second. And then, of course, the NoteCamp.live podcast. We've got 2020 and 2021 episodes of that being released, and we're really excited about that. I believe the 2021 episodes are releasing as of Wednesday or Thursday of this week, going forward, one a week. So check it out, subscribe, and if you like it, leave a 5-star review. But we're doing something cool. That beeping is my cat. One of my cats is playing with a toy here, and it's beeping. I'm not going to bother him. He's having fun. But we are starting to crank up some more of the content here on the Note Closer Show podcast. That's the 50,000 megawatt blowtorch that we host. We've 688 episodes out there. I really want to hit it hard to hit close to 800 by the 800 to 900 by the time this year is over. But we're going to be going live almost daily at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's noon on the East Coast. That's 9 a.m. Pacific. You can watch, if you follow me on, I would prefer if you go watch it on either our Facebook page or our YouTube channel at WeCloseNotes.tv. But we'll also be posting these, live streaming these across the different things on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and even Twitch. And I'm really, really excited. Most of these episodes are going to be solo episodes of content. And they'll be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Today was the first time we done it with the new streaming system that we use. We're really excited about that. It looks really good. And so check it out. 688 episodes. Wow. We keep cranking them out, and want to keep delivering great content for you all. So check it out. Listen to anywhere that you listen to podcasts, but those are some different ways. If you're not a podcast listener, you can still watch and listen and catch the live video. Anyway, this Saturday, maybe you guys seen an email that went out this weekend. Hey, we are running a very special sale for our Note weekend class this Saturday. Our Saturday class will run, as our buddy Bill Grisman likes to call it, the Cliff Notes on Note investing. I've revamped the PowerPoint, some of the things that go along with it. So it's going to be a lot of new content, new fresh stuff. We'll run from basically 9 to 3, probably, maybe a little bit later, might be a little bit sooner. I expect it to run at least till 3 because we've got a large class. If you're not familiar with it, it's the basics of how to find, fund, and flip notes. You're not going to learn everything about note investing in one day, let alone 3 days, but it's a great starter. Just dip your toe in the water and see if you like note investing. Like I said, new content, new resources. We are running a bump sale. And what's a bump sale? Well, we started this literally at $1 on Friday and running it through tonight. Tonight at midnight, the bump sale changed. I forgot yesterday and forgot today's MLK. So I went ahead and extended it till midnight tonight. If you did not get signed up, I think it's sitting at $45 right now. It's normally $99. It's an opportunity for you to get a big discount. It goes up by every sale. So if it goes up, if you buy tonight 44, the next guy's going to get it 45. The next guy's going to get 46. Includes all the bonuses. Like I said, I think currently at 44 when I did the PowerPoint a little bit this afternoon. For those of you who don't know, I give you 100% satisfaction guaranteed. If you go through the class like this is not for me, I don't like it, I'll gladly refund you whatever you pay for it. I don't want to keep your money. I'm not here to get rich on 44. I'm here to find investors to take some deals down and do some other stuff. So feel free, go to noteweekend.com, click on the big green box that says get it at or whatever RSVP or spot here at 41, 42, whatever it might be sitting at. But we are running that through midnight tonight. If you missed out on it, it's your opportunity to get. I know, Jim, you grabbed a ticket. A few others on here grabbed a ticket to it. Kudos to you for paying attention. But like I said, that sale will end at midnight tonight because it is a holiday. So take advantage of the opportunities, because you are going to want to be in that class this weekend. The Saturday, definitely, because we've got some cool stuff that we're adding to it. So anyway, before I dive in, next Monday night, by a show of hands, we're going to raise your hands in the chat roll here or in the comments. How many people are interested in commercial deals, in commercial notes, commercial paper? RJ is. Okay, good. We got a few people. Let's see here. Good stuff. Let's see here. Who's raised their hands? RJ, Tony, Larry, Jim. Okay. Got a few of you out there. Some of you guys that are watching like, I don't know. Well, we've got a really cool Joseph and Richard habits. Yes. What if I could show you some things our special guest next Monday night will share? And there's no cost for the webinar. It's free to go to, like all of our Note Night in Americas. But our special guest next Monday night, and this has been 3 months in the making. These guys are doing amazing things. I was blown away with what they are doing, and I wanted to bring them and share it with you guys here first. As I understand, it'll be their first webinar out. They've been doing this product for a while. They reached out to me to help market, and I was so blown away. I'm going to show you, they've got a great thing that they're doing and showing how to find distressed commercial real estate opportunities in every market by classification. If I wanted to look at every distressed multifamily apartment complex in the country, I can do it in just a few minutes. It'll actually share with me the true ownership and lender contact information. Yes, literally the asset manager handling that asset class or that asset for the lender. I was just, whoa. Also how to find value add and off market deals, real-time valuations of what the banks are classifying the assets at. This is just a so cool sneak peek behind the scenes type of thing for you. And then I'll also talk about the 15 hottest markets for investors. So if you're not signed up for next Monday night, do so. Even if you aren't in commercial notes or commercial real estate right now, you can learn a lot from what we'll talk about next Monday night. So check it out. All of the stuff is be covered by our special guest next Monday night. You don't know him, never had him on here before, never appeared before on a podcast yet with me. So I'm just jacked up about this, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to learn a lot next Monday night. So RSVP at notenightinamerica.com. If you're registered for one, you can register for them all and don't have to register every time. So pretty stoked about that. So anyway, John's interested in a commercial deal. So check it out. Don't miss it. Mark your calendars now. So let's get into filling your cup up. All right. And that's the biggest thing I think that we need to focus on as individuals and investors, is filling your own cup up. All right. But before we get into filling your cup up or filling others' cups up, what are you here for? We've all got different reasons of what your why is to show up on a Monday night, to continue to show up, to take classes, to invest, to go out and find the best. What's your why? Is it to make more money? And I want you guys to type this in the chat roll. Type this in the comments. What's your number one why? Make more money, retire yourself, your spouse, your parents, your family. You're not accomplishing your goals and dreams of where you're at currently, so you're looking to accomplish more. You're looking to leave your job, or the great resignation is going to happen to you, whether it's you or forced upon you. Maybe you want to pay for your kids' education. Maybe you want to donate to a charity or start a cause or stuff like that. All in all, I think all of you are here to live a better life in a sort of fashion. So I'd love to hear, what are your whys here? What's the biggest thing? Roberta says she wants to leave. Roberta says, leave my job. Joseph and Richard Fabis want to make more money up in there in the windy city in Chicago. Thank you guys for sharing. RJ, looking to go full-time into the note business. Do something more that you love. They're all great, whatever it might be. You're here because thank you, Jim. I always over deliver every time with that question. Well, that's I'll send you the checkout later for that, Jim. But we're all here for a reason. I think because we all want to do bigger and better things. That's what they maybe call us the crazy. We're the 1% crazy people out there. Most of our family probably thinks we're a little, crazy. I know my family probably thinks I'm a little crazy. That's a picture growing up. My sister, my brother, me, mom, and dad. Dad's been passed on for about 15 years now. Mom's still around and do some other things, but we all want to do things for our family, whether it's you have kids or family, or you have fur babies, or you've got extended family. I like to consider that I'm pretty lucky, not only have great friends and family, but all you are basically part of the Note family, as I like to say. Glad to sit down and drink a beer and have a great time with you wherever we're at. So we're all here for different reasons, and there's no wrong reason to whatever it might be. Good. I hope you are able to share that and see that and post it on a daily basis, because that's one of the most important things is being able to write down what you want to accomplish and why you're doing it, and having that, wake up every morning and make some things happen. Now, the biggest question, if we're the 1% crazy, does that make the 99% out there, the other 9% out there, difficult, the non-crazy, struggling? I think we would have to agree that there are a lot of other people struggling out there. People struggling, trying to make enough to get by on, right? Just to barely get by. We've seen poverty levels at increasing numbers across the board. Who else here is worried about your future? I mean, somebody was talking that we've never seen the United States more primed for a civil war, which is concerning. But if you start listening and watching the news, it's nothing but bad news. Who's struggling to pay for health insurance? Or struggling with their health, paying for food at the end of the day. If you got a big family, a lot of people struggle just to put food on the table at night. We've obviously come out of something with the foreclosure and eviction moratorium. People are still nervous out there about paying their mortgage, paying their rent. We are seeing increases in default across there. Just paying to survive. I found that a friend of mine, not this year, but a few years ago, was living homeless for basically 2 years out of his car. Did not know that. And luckily he didn't have a family to take care of him, but his family wasn't there to help him out. If you've got family, it's all about, hey, what do we can do to make life better, right? To take care of our family. And you have to realize too, everybody and their dog and their cat is struggling at some point, whether it's mentally, their mental state's not there. We all know it's been stressful. You listen to the craziness of the world, it's mentally struggle. Physically, our healths. I mean, we can't, anytime you can roll out of bed and you're 6 foot above ground. And I think I heard it was a comment that Paul Walker one made. He goes, every night you have to be happy that you're going to bed, because there are hundreds of thousands of people that wish they could be in your situation, to breathe, to stand, to walk, to live, to smile. Of course, monetarily, people struggle with that from time, and job loss, wanting to make enough, worried about retirement. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling, and you have to count yourself blessed. And I think first and foremost, you have to be thankful for what you have. But then second, you have to realize that, hey, there are opportunities not only to help yourself, but to help a lot of other people out there. And I think one of the best quotes, one of the best shows I've ever seen, I'm still a fan of this day, I haven't watched it in a while, but when I was growing up, I loved watching the show Quantum Leap. Scott Bakula, where he, was a scientist. He would go back in time and try to go back in time and fix what went wrong. And, who wishes we didn't have an hourglass or be able to go back and fix things and take advantage of the missed opportunities. I mean, one of the biggest opportunities we had was 13 years ago, 2008, 9, and 10. My biggest thing was I wish I'd bought more. Okay. I wish I could go back and change. Hey, buy more. There's a few mistakes I've made along the way. I wish I could have done and gone and fixed. But you have to take what you've learned from your past and learn from what's going on, what either opportunities you've missed along the way, what actions you took, or what actions you didn't take, to make the most of about what's coming up, how to take advantage, because there's always more money made in a down economy versus an up economy. And we are, I guess you could say, in a down economy, inflation and stress and stuff like that. There's a lot of opportunities that can really help out people there. And so I always like to ask this question when I think about that, when you talk about opportunities, what if you had the cure for? Now, what if you had the cure for cancer? Would you do something about it? What if you had the cure for COVID? God, woo, you'd be making a ton of money with a true cure, not a vaccine, but a cure for the vid. Okay. What if you had a cure for homelessness, an answer, a solution for it? What if you could solve the issues with retirement or Social Security stuff? If you had a true answer for it. I mean, there's people that have said they've come out with answers, but there's been a lot of non-stuff. I mean, if you look at what we do as a society, there's a lot of things that we could cure if we would put our resources and fill our cup first. If we could cure ignorance, oh my God, wouldn't that be a joyous day? Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day of being able to cure ignorance. Unfortunately, there is not a cure for stupidity. And common sense is lacking in a lot of cases, but you have to take care of yourself. And the question is what would you do? Would you actually share the cure, solve it? I found something as I was doing this. I found that if you have the cure for cancer, cancer actually survives a lot of times. It actually eats itself. And that's actually a picture of a cancer cell. Pretty damn ugly. It eats itself to survive in a lot of cases. And I see that happening, I think, in a lot of cases, not just in, we're not going to go away politics or religion, but seeing that in the real estate world. You see a lot of people out there that aren't doing anything and really have a cancerous mindset, really trying to eat others or take others down that are actually doing stuff and trying to accomplish big things. And if you're brand new investing, that's always one of the biggest mind blocks I talk with people. People are scared to share what they're doing because they're afraid of the feedback. They're afraid of the cancel culture. They're afraid of our friends and family saying, oh, you can't do that. You're not big enough. If you had the cure, would you do something? Would you share it with people? Or would you be like the pharma boy here? Oh, I've got a cure, but I'm going to take it from $5 a pill to $700 a pill. And I don't think any of you that are on here tonight would do that. I think that unfortunately, we keep seeing a lot of the opportunities out there for people grabbing that and trying to hoard it all for themselves. And I think that's the biggest opportunity. You guys have to realize you have to make your opportunity. You have to cut the cancer out. You've got to take the action because you all do have a cure. You all have an opportunity. You all have the strength, the wisdom, the drive inside of all. You just have to take the action if you want to. You don't have to be the smartest person in the tool shed. You don't have to be the most good-looking Jim Myers. You're awesome, buddy. Or others out there. You don't have to have any money to do what you to solve the cancer for cure. Now that sounds stupid and ignorant, but it actually isn't with what I'm going to share with you tonight. So I always like to ask this too. And this comes from the John Goodman quote in The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg a few years back. And this quote was once originally shared by my mentor, Greg Reed. And he talked about, remember to fill your cup because you can't pour from an empty cup. Fill your cup first and solve the world with your overflow. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't fill our own cup. We go out and try to fill everybody else's cup and we take it the last for us. And you can't do that. I know my mom, God bless her, she is a wonderful woman, has always been helping to fill their cups, but other times has not filled her cup first when she should have. I think we've all been guilty of that, filling others' cups versus focusing on filling ours. And then you run down, you're wore out, you're trying to be everything to everybody else when you need to be 100% to yourself first. And then John Goodman says, if you have enough money without working, you own your house, you got a couple million in the bank, that's FU money. Nobody can take that away from you. And I always like to ask this, how many of you, whoops, did I say that? Yeah, I'm missing something. How many of you have enough money without working? That was the question. How many of you right now have enough money? If you stopped working, you would be fine. Your investments would pay long-term. And the answer to that is probably none of us, right? None of us, if we stopped working completely, yeah, we'd survive for a while, we'd do well, but we don't have a true full cup. Now, how many of you, without saying anything, how many of you are empty cups? How many of you are struggling to get by, or you're busy filling everybody else's cup, but not filling yours first? And part of that is a lot of us struggle with fears. We want to try to help others, we support others, because if we had to go fill ours first, that means we need to take a leadership position in our family, in our life, and take the point on filling our cup. Nobody's going to fill your cup for you. You have to go fill it for yourself. Now, the question is, what are you going to do for that? Okay. What's the fear that's holding you back? Is it lack of investment capital? I don't have any money in the bank. I can't do this. Okay. I have no experience. I can't do this. All right. I have a lack of confidence, which is what a lot of people have. I have a lack of confidence and I can't do this. I just don't believe in myself. I have to go prove the concept. Oh, that's a lack of confidence. I want you to fill those cups up because you are in an environment, you have the opportunity, you do have the resources, you do have the support staff, you do have the support of vendors and people out there to help you get over that lack of investment capital. That's the number one question we get. And I'm going to share you tonight why you don't need to be worried about that. Lack of experience. Guys and gals, if you are taking classes in real estate investing, you're 95% more educated than most individuals out there. And we'll talk about why. Lack of confidence just comes from you taking action. Rinse and repeating and getting over it and doing it and stepping out there. And that first step, that first deal is always the hardest. And we'll talk about some opportunities for you guys to take it. But let's fill those cups up and go through some things. Okay. So when I think about filling your cup up, I have to look at some things and opportunities up there. And I honestly, every day I talk to somebody who's having a tough time when it comes to raising capital, when it comes to investing, finding deals. I'm going to tell you right now, the news is doing your job for you. What? Scott, you just said that you stopped watching the news a while back. Well, I still pay attention. I still check out USA Today and CNN.com. I check back and forth a little Fox News to add in some spice in there. But the news is doing your job as investors for you. Now, what I mean by that? Well, all the news is good for is spreading fear. The news organizations out there are just spreading fear and negativity every day. Oh, woe is us. How bad it is. What are we're facing inflation. We're all this stuff. A recession's on the way. But what that is, if you're an investor, it's actually doing its job for you. Okay. You hear nothing about, COVID infection rates, COVID deaths, inflation is at a record high for the quarter, huge job loss, foreclosures, evictions. Stop me if this doesn't sound familiar. Okay. Overpriced housing markets, rent rates going up. It just literally goes on and on and on with the negativity out there. But you actually can combat that negativity with positive. And each and everyone on here watching this, whether you're live or in person, you have the opportunity to combat the negative with the positive, because there's a lot of people out there that don't have any hope. They don't have any faith in their fellow man. They don't have faith in the government and stuff like that. I get that. I don't trust the government, but I have faith in myself. I have hope in myself and my fellow man for doing other things out there. And if you look at some of the news headline, like this came out today, inflation emerging as a top economic challenge in 2022. Okay. Consumer demand, supply chain troubles, and the spread of the Omicron variant threaten to prolong sharply rising prices into the new year. Well, how do you combat rising prices? You go make more money, or you make higher returns on your investments. Okay. Now, do you think banks are worried out there? The big banks out there, all the institutions, do you think that they are worried about what's going on in the world right now? And the answer to that is a resounding hell no. Hell no, they're not. Because when you look at all the things that just came out on Friday, record earnings for Q4 2021, Bank of America Corp, record earnings from Q2 of last year to this year. They made unprecedented profits. JP Morgan Chase and all of Wall Street expect a surge in a bumper year, huge payouts, huge profits. Well, if it's in such a bad time frame with job loss and stuff like that, how the hell are banks making all this profit? And what it comes down to is it's the savings. They are literally robbing us alive. It's Americans are savings more. We're literally giving banks basically interest-only free loans, and they're taking that money and making record profits with it. Why can't you do the same thing? Huh? What did you say? You can do the exact same thing. The banks are robbing America, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know this, let me wake you up to that real fast. And let's just do it in some simple numbers. You think about the record amount of people saving money these days. We've had record savings than we've had ever before in a long amount of time. Yes, we still have more debt than a lot of other things, but there's more savings, more money going to the bank. People want to save for a rainy day. Well, we all know the banks aren't giving anything to people. And as an ex-banker, I can say this until you give you a little insight on some things. But if you look at what the savings accounts that the banks are paying, people are saving more than ever before. I Googled best savings account out there. And if I had $50,000 to put into an account here, Marcus of Goldman Sachs would give me half a point. Okay. In a year, on a $50,000 investment, I would make half a point, or I'd make $250 on that savings account by just sitting aside. Woo! I'm going to go rich fast there. Okay. Let's take it up. That's a high yield. Let's, $50,000 for a year, half a point. I would make $250. Woo! Isn't that exciting? Yeah, baby. Hell no. Well, let's talk about certificates of disappointment. Okay. I'm downstairs and I don't have my wah button because it would be. Let's talk about certificates of disappointment. Now, when I was a banker at JP Morgan Chase, yes, I was a banker, one of the top bankers in all of the state of Texas here. We had CD rates at like 4, 4 1/8, 4 1/4, 4 1/2. People would move hundreds of $1,000s across the street for a 1/8 bump. Now, when I went to Wells Fargo and pulled up their savings rates and CD rates, look at down here. If we said $50,000 for a 1-year CD, okay, $50,000 for a 1-year CD, they would give you 0.1%. Oh, if you had a relationship with them, they would double that to 2/100ths. So 0.01% or 0.02%. That's definitely a certificate of disappointment. Now, I Googled what's the best CDs out there you can find. And guess what? Bankrate shared us. Woo! Whopping 0.7%. 0.7% for a 14-month CD. Okay. But most of it was 0.55, 0.55, 0.55. Less than 1%, less than half of 1%. That's the best rate out there. Most of your banks, Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, all 0.1% or 1.01%. That's crazy. They're literally, the fees eat up your stuff. We already have negative inflation, negative interest rates when you look at the amount that they're paying on savings account, and then the monthly fees eat up your interest. You're already losing money to them. Okay. Seriously, 0.7% for a 14-month CD. Okay. On a $50,000 investment. That was the best rate that's popped up. Okay. So let's compare this, because unfortunately, America has been swindled and sold on this safe. Let's put it in the bank. Let's save it. Let's save it. Let's put it in the bank. And I'm really fired up right now. I need to calm myself down because I can feel my blood pressure going up from being just fired up about this. And this is nothing new, but the thing that you have to realize, you have to share this. You have to share this. And even, I hate to say this, but even some of the most well-thought minds, I hate to say this, like Jim Cramer, who's the big guy with the glasses? Oh my God. Who talks about paying off your mortgage and paying off your house is a good thing. Yeah, I could get that in some cases, but for most, it's not really a smart thing because your money is tied up there. But if you take in, let's say your friend, your next door neighbor who has got 50 grand sitting in a savings account, making half of 1 point in 1 year would make $250 on their $50,000 savings, sitting there savings. Okay. Woo. Let's put it in a CD, making 0.7%. Now let's give them that high yield one. That's $350 in a year, not a month, a year. Now, if you had a note, they had $50,000 and you could pay them, say 6%. If you paid them 6% interest rate on a $50,000 investment, they would make $3,000 in a year. Now, you would make some good money on that because hopefully that note's paying you 12%. So you're also equally making $3,000 or more or whatever. But I just went and put 6% because I think a lot of us investors have, unfortunately, and I may be to blame at this in some cases, have been looking at, oh, just pay our investors 12% is an easy slam dunk. Yeah, I would agree to that when you had a lot of spread and things. But as things have gotten tighter, I don't say paying 12% anymore. I don't even say paying 10%. I think if people aren't going to go out and do it for themselves, 6% would be the highest that you want to pay them. Because there's so much money out there, and I'll share with you why. But if you were showed this yourself, if you have $50,000 sitting in a checking account or a savings account and it's been sitting there for a while, you just lost $2,700 basically on average. You lost $2,700 letting that money sit there and make nothing. And you figure in the monthly fees. Ignorance is costing people thousands of dollars per year. Ignorance is costing people thousands of dollars per year. And unfortunately, if you're not talking about this, you're part of the cause. If you're not sharing with your audience, if you're not sharing with your friends, your families about the different opportunities that are available out there or how they're getting screwed, unfortunately, you have the cancer, you have the cure for cancer, but you're not sharing it. And it may hit hard. It is what it is. If you're not sharing with your network and talking about this stuff, you're part of the problem. And I said this a little bit earlier, and I think we maybe get so blinded sometimes because we see the trees. We're surrounding ourselves with like-minded individuals. Oh yeah, Jim's an investor, RJ's an investor, 12%. I get that. But for the mass majority of people out there, they don't know that. They don't know the opportunities out there. And a lot of us, we get so bogged down into, well, I can't pay 12%, or I can't, the deals are getting skinny, as they say, or whatever like that. There's still millions of dollars, billions of dollars in debt, or performing or non-performing that's now reperforming notes. There are options for you to do that. And if you offer somebody 6%, you're offering them at a minimum of 8 to 12 times what the best banks are paying. Think about that for a second. If I could show you an investment, Steve, that would pay you 8 to 12 times more than what your bank is paying you, would you be interested? Think about that. If I could show you something that would pay you 8 to 12 times better than the best bank deal and what your bank is paying you, would you be interested? What do you think the overwhelming answer to that is? It's not no, it's hell yeah, what do I need to do? And that's the approach that you have to start taking. Now, we all know it's possible. Larry Hoffman, a new note investor, previous real estate investor, took some time off, got kicked in the shins like many people out there did a decade plus ago, just basically raised over $100,000 at 6% interest with a couple letters. And now I'm out talking, and kudos to Larry, signed his first contract for a note. His investor is going to be making 6%. Larry's going to be making the other side of what 20 minus his interest is. His isn't going to be an infinite rate of return because he's arbitraging the funds, paying his investor a good rate. Investor was happy with that. Investor that was in a self-directed IRA account, sitting at an equity trust account, was happy at 6% and wants to do more now that Larry's pulled the trigger and it's rock and roll. You all can do this, okay? Banks are using the cheap money that we are giving them to make record profits. They are literally saying record profits, record profits, record profits. That doesn't sound like somebody stealing from your wallet at night while you're asleep. I don't know what it is. Because if you think about that, if a bank is only going to pay you, let's just say 0.1%, and then they only go out and make 1%, that's a 900% profit margin, not 0.9%, 900% profit margin, ladies and gentlemen. But that's only they're charging one. If they're only paying out 0.1, but they're charging 18% on credit cards, 6 to 7% on car loans, 4%. I mean, even money markets aren't making 4%. They're making like 1%. Yeah, they'd be glad to give you a mortgage at 3% because they're borrowing money at 0.1% at the worst and making a 2,900% difference. This is why banks are seeing record profits. We can get pissed off about it. And I don't know about you. I was doing this, I literally felt nauseous. I almost threw up this afternoon. I'm like, does this make you feel sick? Raise your hand if it makes you feel sick to think about that. Because we all know the difference. And if you've ever been to an investment club or things like this, is not rocket science. I'm not telling you anything new, but when you start looking at things and seeing the headlines, it kind of makes you sick. It really makes you sick and irritated because you have the opportunity to do that. Now, a lot of us like, I don't have the money to do this. Okay, if you don't have the money, can you talk to people? Can you go out and find the money? Who do you think, like, listen, everybody's got cancer right now. The entire 90% of America has cancer. And I'm not talking about the actual disease. I'm talking they have a financial cancer that's eating them alive. And it's up to us to do things. And here's another fact. This is another thing that blows my mind. This is quotes from several predominant owners, operators, CEOs of several self-directed IRA companies that we're familiar with. Okay. This kills you. A self-directed IRA is great. You need to put it, but here's the big kicker. 33% of any self-directed IRA custodian or trustee funds under management are sitting in zero interest-bearing accounts. 33%. Now I know like Quest is like 1.5 billion under management. So they've got about, that's $500 million making zero. Now they're providing a vehicle. It is up to the investors to go do that. I am not angry with Quest or Equity Trust. I am not mad because they're providing a vehicle. I'm angry at the people that took the time to open accounts and then didn't do anything. But they have the cancer. You have the cure. You can put their money to work, making an above average return than what they're getting in a huge way. That's one of the things when people say, oh, I did a real estate deal. Great. How'd that turn out for you? Well, I made 12%. Awesome. How long did it take you? 3 months. Great. What'd you do with the rest of the year? Nothing. So technically you didn't make 12%. You made 3% for the year. When you start educating people in the rules and numbers and how this stuff works, ladies and gentlemen, you will have people begging to invest with you. But most people are either too scared, don't think they have enough funds, or they think they can't find deals to make it happen. So they sit there And what does a confused mind say? A confused mind says, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't understand it. I don't think I've got enough money. I'm not smart enough. Doggone it. I'm not smart enough. And people don't like me. But yes, you are smart enough. Yes, you are good enough. And doggone it, people will love you if you share with them opportunities for this. And this doesn't even be stuff that you do. There's ways to structure your deals where you're not even taking ownership in these deals. You're actually putting them in a vehicle, making your spread, and moving on to the next investor and helping them. You've helped somebody out along the way. You've made your cut, or you stay in the deal if you want to and do some big things. And the question I'm going to ask each and every one of you, what are you guys going to do about this knowledge? I'm just going to get up and go to work for the state. I'm just going to get up and do nothing. And you can continue to do that. I think we've all been guilty of wanting to do that. Just got to get up. I'm going to do that. But I don't know about you guys. I'm pretty fired up. I'm pretty pissed off because it can be done, and people want to see this information. They want to take the blue pill or the red pill. I don't remember whichever pill it was, but they want to know what's going on, and because they don't think they have any other opportunities. They don't think they have any options. Like I said, when I was a banker, I had people that would move things over hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars. I had one investor. His name was John, and he had 1.2 million sitting in CDs, 12 $100,000 CDs, making 3.5%. And he was happy. And he was happy. He had FU money. He was totally fine with that. There's a lot of other people out there, maybe some people on the call, people that watch this, that are struggling. And if you think you're too scared, don't know where to find, that's fine. Reach out to me. I'm glad to help. So how do you guys capitalize on this? Because that's what it's all about. If you spending an hour with me tonight, and taking the knowledge we're talking about, this is nothing recycled, but you should have a bit of fire. You should have a little bit of fire in your belly and looking at those numbers and realizing you have the opportunity. You've got the cure, and you need to walk like it, and you need to start talking to people to make things happen. So you talk to people. That's what you do. You start talking to people. You start sharing things. You start networking. You send an email blast out to your database. Do a video about it. And how do you capitalize as well? Hey, you go find reperforming notes or notes that are paying 6 to 15% return on investment. There's plenty of them out there. In 5 minutes, I found like 35 notes like that I'm targeting literally tonight. Stuff that's been on websites for a year, reach out to people. There are so many opportunities out there, and you go out and find those deals, and then you target people out there making negative, and say, listen, I can pay you 6 to 12 times what the bank is paying you. And we're going to do it for a short period of time, like a CD, 3 to 5 years. Would you be interested? Yes. So you find deals that are paying 6 to 15%. If you use your own money. Now, if you use your own money, that's great. By all means, use it. Boom, rock and roll. But if somebody's willing to give you money at 4 to 6% because their money's making nothing, you're giving the cure for cancer. It's also helping you out. Your return on investment, somebody funds your deal, is what? Is it double? 100? No, it's an infinite rate of return. There's ways to structure. You can put yourself in between the numbers. You can either do a split, some difference in the principal. Hey, they're funding 60. I got this at 50. I'm going to take 10 grand in profit and move on, or I'm going to take a monthly split. There's all difference in what you want to do and how the deal gets structured. But there are so many opportunities out there that I've just been blown away. And like I said, it was an epiphany to me on Friday night, and I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize right now. I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought about this and done other things, and it's fine, but literally something clicked in the opportunity. Because yes, there's plenty of investors out there, but we as investors are a small minority out there. And if you want to give people the cure to cancer, you got to go out where people are willing to actually take it. And you have to quit wasting your time with sharks. And I joke sharks because I'm a shark. I want to make 12% of my money. Who doesn't want to make 12%? That's great. That's a shark. But there's a lot of other non-sharks out there. 12% return on investment is great if it's hard money or you're doing the deal yourself. But if you're not working through the deal yourself, yeah, you can also find a good 12% return or greater on low-hanging or distressed non-performing notes out there. We're buying one this week on that, buying another one next week on that. Still, we're going to see a good return on investment because we worked through it and worked our numbers and stuff like that. But lazy short-term money, you shouldn't be making 12%. If you don't have to do any work, and the money's just sitting there, and you're not going to do any of the work to servicing, to find the deal, to fund the deal, to do any of that marketing, you should be making it. And you got to quit worrying. And I know I talked 2 weeks about going out and networking at real estate clubs and investment groups and arenas. I still believe that. But quit going to those investment clubs to raise capital, because there's just going to be other investors that want to make 12% or greater who aren't going to do the work. So they think they're entitled to something. Nothing. It's literally like they went to school to make 20 bucks an hour, but they have a $3 an hour work habit. If you're going to do the work, you're the big man. He who has the gold, or he or she who has the gold, makes the rules. The gold is not in the deal, in the money. The gold is in the actual deal flow, ladies and gentlemen. And everybody is looking for deals to fund. Everybody is slicing and dicing, and the news is scaring people. Oh, inflation, I got to do something. I got to put my money to work or I'm going to lose more of it. Yes, they need to put it to work. They are doing all the work for you. So start marketing deals and opportunities. Pull your head out of your large orifice and realize this is a simple business of providing opportunities. And you have to worry about, oh God, what's somebody going to say? What if somebody's going to say something? Okay, next. The low-hanging funds are out there everywhere around you. You just got to share. So let's talk about some of those numbers, because I really want to prove this to you in just a few minutes here. And hopefully it's like, aha. When you look at American households, there is approximately 32.3 million households that have a net worth of 100K to 1 million. That's outside their house. They're worth 100K to $1 million out there without their house. There's 32.3 million households worth more than 100K. Now, if we break that number down a little bit, let's shrink it down a little bit. 100K to 500,000, 10 million plus households. What does that mean? That means there's approximately 22.3 million households between 500,000 and $1 million net worth. Okay. A lot of people out there. Those that are worth 1 to 5 million, there are about 9.4 million households. I didn't do anything above 5 million because it gets ridiculous on there. But what you have to do is target the underserved. Now, I'm not saying going after people below 100K. Hey, some of those might be your friends and families, can be great deals for you that you definitely want to give them the cure for cancer. If your next door neighbor had invented Google, you'd want to take off. Hopefully he told you about it to buy some shares to help out support it, right? That's the same thing. There's a ton, let me say a veritable shitload of people out there that need your help. One, if you figure we had 150 million people vote, 72 million for one, 70 million for the side in the last elections, basically 1/5 of America falls into your market for you. Now you just got to share what you got going on. You got to be underserved, because those that have $1 million or value, they're the ones being chased by all the big investment firms. If you're trying to land a whale and it's your first time out, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. You need to go do some deals. You need to knock some singles and doubles out. And there's plenty of singles and doubles out there that you can make good money on, because otherwise just trying to go raise capital and not doing any deals, you're not making any money. Go find the deals, and I guarantee people are desperate enough. A lot of the wealthy out there are looking for 6 to 8% of money or less because their money's not making them anything. You need to go out and talk to people. You need to go out and talk to more people. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, another statistic for you is when we have found this from doing research, that 67% of the self-directed IRAs have over 150K in them, making zero. 67% of all the self-directed IRAs, because we've pulled lists, and we pulled lists for full IRA investors and those that have 150 grand or more. And right across the board, anywhere from 60 to 70%, depending on the market, had more than 150 grand. If you look at the fact that probably over half of those, if not more than half of those are just regular IRAs, not like a Quest or trust account, are probably not making zero. They're probably in funds, self-directed funds, making zilch. You have the opportunity to do a lot of good. You just got to get out and talk to people. You've got to get out and share what you have to offer, because the dude will provide if you'll take action and make things happen. So I want to open it up for questions tonight. That's really all I have for you. Go out and take some action. Go out and share what you're doing. We've got the class this weekend is a great starting point. I think most of you guys have been through that. We have our next 3-day workshop next weekend, next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're really excited about that. I think it's next week or maybe the weekend after. I don't know. My brain is shot from, being part of something for a couple of days. But I really, if you did not pick up what I was putting down there, ladies and gentlemen, you've got a huge untapped market that needs help. You just got to share the little things. Literally, go to your bank. Go to your bank tomorrow and say, hey, can I get your CD rates? Can I get your CD rate sheet? They'll give it to you. They probably have it at the front door while you come in and gobble up all that gook. Soylent Green is made out of the people. Soylent Green is people. I saw something. You remember the movie from 1978, Soylent Green with oh my gosh, Charles. Who was? Oh my God, who was not Noah? Charlton Heston in Soylent Green. Soylent Green's made out of people. The big banks are literally getting fat on people. They are the Soylent Green of 2022. And what's another concerning thing, Soylent Green was based in the year 2022. Ooh, that gives me shivers. I don't know about you. So go do something. You have to start marketing. If you got to figure out something, join me this weekend. If you're part of our WCN crew membership, guess what? You get a ticket to this weekend. You get a ticket to the 3-day class. It's an opportunity for you guys. If you're interested, do that. Get signed up. Get educated. We have some great stuff that we're focused on to help you take the advantage of what the market is doing to help you better yourself, to help you fill your cup and help to fill your cup and fill others up with what flows out of your cup. Because you got to take care of yourself first. And we've all been guilty of not taking care of ourselves first. It's time to start doing that. It's time that you make a stand and start sharing what you got going on and the opportunities. Quit worrying about 12%. Go talk to more people. Go talk to more people. If it's a good deal, you'll find it. And one of the easiest ways to put it in a performa note, find something off that, whether it's new or it's seasoned, and arbitrage yourself in the middle. Questions, comments, concerns for you guys? Why not offer interest only, just like a CD? So you pay interest only while you collect on amortizing, not just make sure the lender gets paid off before you. Yeah, that's a great way too. Just give them interest only. I totally agree with that, Jim. That's a more complex, not really complex, but it's something that we'll be spending more time on talking about this weekend. And so, yeah, great point. Offer interest only. We're just at that point. You want to make sure that whatever the amount is that it's not paying you off faster or paying off. You want to make sure to have money there to pay off your investor back if it is interest only, because if it's only interest only, you want to make sure to pay your investor back after 3 years or 4 years or whatever. Okay. Brian Levinson says, you are 100% correct. Basically, we are lending our money to the bank for 1% or less. Exactly right, Brian. Thank you for commenting. Charlton Heston. Yep, that was the guy. Soylent Green, it's made out of people. Good stuff there. That's okay. Some people are like, what the hell is that? They're going to go onto Netflix tonight and try to figure out what the hell is Soylent Green. It's probably not even on there. But anyway, guys, hey, thank you for joining me. Hopefully this was valuable. If you want to learn how to take that information and use it, sign up for our Note Weekend class this Saturday. Like I said, 100% satisfaction. If you don't like that you want to do something more, hey, check out our 3-day class or sign up for our monthly membership at $97 a month. You can go to noteumbrella.com, get signed up there. Includes access to all our Note Weekends, our 3-day workshops, our special trainings, and some other stuff along the way out there for you. So this kind of spreads the cost of your education over the year. Love for you to guys be a part of that. There's a 6-month minimum on the WCN membership, for you can't just sign up for a week and then be gone with it. You got to take advantage of the education, but there's also a lot of stuff in there for you anyway. But anyway, get signed up, noteumbrella.com, noteweekend.com. Take advantage of the discount, guys. That's what we're here for, and I want to help you take your business to the next level. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, RJ. I appreciate that. Great call tonight. Thank you. Looking forward to talking to you as well later in the week as well. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, everybody. Y'all be safe out there. Guys and gals, you all have the cure. Okay? It's all a matter of you sharing it. You have the knowledge. It's like being a brain surgeon and then not ever working on the brain, ever operating. Don't do that. Don't continue to feed into that. Do something smart. Start sharing. Marketing has never been easier than it was before. Just go out, take action, and we'll look forward to seeing you all at the top, everybody.